place and do make that connection, then who knows what you'll be capable of. There won't be much that you won't be able to achieve, I don't think. The sky's the limit and beyond.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Hey, just one quick thing.
So no pressure there then, Mike.
No, no doubt about that. Is there anything weird and unusual in my chart here that you might want to share? That
weird and unusual? Well, the whole thing's weird and unusual. You're right. It is. I mean, it is, because you see, interestingly enough, even though you're a Virgo, you have a very strong Aquarian dynamic. Now, that, of course, is the things that I mentioned in an earthly way, but it is also linked with the sky, and it's also linked with, the age of Aquarius. More and more and more extraterrestrial communication is going to be happening, and awareness, and it's going to be like, oh yeah, those are those guys that don't live on our planet, but they're just foreigners from, another part of the galaxy or beyond. And there is a strong link there with your Aquarianness and the off-planet stuff. The ruling planet of Aquarius, Uranus, it rules electricity and kind of electrical impulses in the body, synapses and so on, the nervous system. So you always have to look after that. Circulation as well, by the way. Means that you've got this kind of ET aerial that can go up the top, out of the top of your head and link into other wavelengths. And I don't think you know that you're doing it sometimes, which is why you'll go off on one. Is that what you were thinking of?
Well, people have been making fun of me about my answer phone message where I say that I can't answer the...
Oh, the mothership. Oh, okay. Yeah, right.
Mothership right now.
Well,
there's some truth to that then.
There is some truth to that. I mean, we all have a lot of different strands. And when I do a chart, I have to know how to pitch that, because if somebody isn't open to it yet, if somebody is still quite asleep in themselves, even though I can see all these wonderful things, it's a little bit like, Santa Claus is coming with the present, but the child is still asleep, so you can't suddenly make a loud noise and wake them up. Or actually, that was a bad analogy, because, any of my children and me, I would have loved it if somebody woke me up and told me Santa Claus was in the room. But do you know what I mean? You can only go so far. So I know that you're already onto it, so I can tell you. And the other thing is that the Uranian dynamic is strong in a particular house of your chart, which is the 6th, which shows a real restlessness and a real changeableness in the work you choose to do over your life, I mean. So you would have experimented. It's a very experimental manifestation of energy. So you would have tried a bit of this, bit of that. You window shopped until you got to the time of your life when you were ready to really get to it, whatever it was. Another side, if you go all the way round this vibration, because I see a vibration as a kind of a round tube, if I go around and look at the other side of it, I could say, well, you could be absolutely excellent at bringing in this other slant on what somebody else is doing for their work. Or maybe suggesting that they ditch it altogether and go into another field, or just bringing in that flash of inspiration, that sort of thing about the aerial and the wavelengths, that go up, that you suddenly come out with something you don't know where it came from, because the Uranian energy is like a flash of lightning. It is the bolts from the blue. It literally is. And so this was just and because your sun and your moon are very close together, you see, you're like a casserole. You've got to sort of put everything together, the onions, the garlic, the carrots, so, if Uranian energy is the garlic and the onions, and then we've got to marry that up with the sun and the moon, which is maybe, I don't know, something hot and something a little bit kind of more bland, like a potato, then the flavor of all that, the equation, if you like, of all that is amounting to somebody who is open to something which is beyond his own knowledge, really. And the area that this is manifesting is in the area of helping others, particularly with their employment or their strategies or their health, in fact, too, how they're living their life, what they're putting into every day of their life. So somebody's very good at doing that. But, of course, you've got to have had all that experience behind you as your foundation of trying a bit of this, trying a bit of that, going down blind alleys and having all of your the variety in the background of your life to now be mature enough and knowledgeable enough and sound enough in your knowledge to help those other people. The alien connection is very strong. You know, it is, in fact, the eighth house stuff is to do with going back in time to a kind of a root in many, many lives ago. And because you've got such a lot of planetary energy piled up intensely in that area there, then I'd be very surprised if you hadn't had a kind of a feeling of you not just being who you are now, and even the feeling of being a bit separate all your life in some weird way. I mean, did you? Have you? Hello?
Yes, I
did. Answered the question, yes. So, you know, sometimes kids who are born into families, loving family units and so on, with that kind of a profile, will always know in their deeper selves that they don't actually belong to that family or perhaps even to this planet. And it's always, you know, just in the background of the mind. And then there comes a flashpoint, something will happen later on in the life which will give them permission, really, to really take that on board, accept that, and go with the flow of that, which I think you're on that line of thinking now.
I think so too. It's really good, Diana, but sadly we're running quickly out of time here. An hour goes really, really quickly. But for people who would like to contact you to get a reading or to talk with you some more, where can they reach you?
Okay, well, there's my email, which is stars@DianaGarland.co.uk. Diana, that's DianaGarland.co.uk. So that's good enough. Just drop me an email.
For those people that foreign people here, not English people, that's stars, STARS, at Diana, DIANA, Garland, GARLAND.co.uk. But before you go, Diana, I just got something to ask you. You know a lot about extraterrestrials and different dimensions, and would you be willing to come back and talk to us again about that another time?
Well, yes, if people would like to hear that, but that's another side. That's not the astrology side. That's because I've been doing channeling for a number of years as well, and I've got quite a lot of books full of material. So, yes, I would like to. I'd like to do that if people want to know, if people want to hear some of it. I'd love to do it, yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Well, then all there is left for me to do right now is to thank the people from the call that have been on the call tonight. That's from 8 countries that have participated. That's Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Spain, England, France, Canada, and the USA. And, of course, to thank you, Diana, for giving us this fascinating
You're
insight.
very, very welcome. And listen, it's just so hard for me not to hear the other people. So I hope they've enjoyed this and can draw from something that I've said, something that's relevant, something that resonates with them. So you're very welcome. I've enjoyed it very much.
If everybody on the call has enjoyed themselves tonight and got questions for Diana, why don't you just send her an email and tell her how much, what you thought about the call, what you'd like to know about it all.
That would be lovely.
And that's us done for tonight, and I look forward to catching up with everybody soon. And thanks, everybody. Adios, amigos. See you soon.